Hi, welcome back. This is Trina. Today I want to talk to you about getting over writer's block and how you actually think about content. You really do need a content strategy. One of the big things about blogging is that people will say, I don't know what to write about. Well, think about it. Create a strategy. For a blog to really be successful, you need to develop a thought or a theme. But because the blog is a reflection of its author, your blog can be as varied and multifaceted as you are. There is no hard, fast rule that says a blog has to be about a specific topic. Just because it's coming from the same author usually means that there are some underlying themes. There are certain things that attract you, that make you interesting, that you are interested in, and that'll be interesting to others that are like-minded. So don't stress about the theme or whatever, just get writing, and what you'll find is that the strategy, the content, will kind of naturally, organically grow. So there is no right or wrong strategy. Now you can choose to concentrate on a specific niche, but it's not necessary. You can actually start a blog to be very varied, and then eventually your audience will pick out the things that they want to read about. But I've said this before, write for yourself. Write what interests you, because then you'll find other people that think like you will be interested in what you find interesting. So write in your own voice, and try to write pretty frequently. Don't over edit. Don't make it sound like you. Be real, be authentic. Now you don't want typos kind of thing. You want it to sound like proper grammar and that kind of thing, but don't over analyze what a blog post should be. The great thing about a blog is that it gets updated frequently, and so one blog post, you may not be so excited about it, but then the next day you write a blog post that you really like. Every day is a chance to write a new blog post. So don't stress about the content. Blogs are only 300 minimum up to 1,000 words is a long blog post. Most blog posts are 400 to 600 words. That's not a lot of content, and it's not going to be a Pulitzer Prize winning blog post every day or every week or every month, whatever your frequency is. But you definitely just want to put content out there, and again, as long as you are being authentic, people will react. But here are some ideas if you are just stuck, how to get off or how to beat writer's block. One, on those days when you are feeling creative and inspired, create a list of as many potential topics as you can think of, and then keep that list handy, and anytime you're feeling stuck, pull it out, pick one, write it. Another great idea is if you're feeling inspired, just write several blog posts in one sitting. And this is really helpful when you're thinking about that link strategy and setting up link silos. If you can write 3 or 4 blog posts at once and kind of figure out how they're going to link together, it just helps the flow and it'll help your link juice. Write about a personal experience. People love to know about stories about the author. So anytime you have a personal experience and can write about that, that's always a great blog post. Another great idea, I've used it several times, is just do a search on YouTube on certain topics, and then maybe find 2 or 3 videos, and then just write out an explanation about what you learned in these videos and why these videos are interesting to you. That's usually a pretty quick blog post. It's mostly video, and it's just your explanation of why you chose that video. Write about something in the news. It could be something going on in sports, something in politics, some local issue, but pull out some topics from the news if you can't think of anything else to write about. Another way that you can kind of always have content, but you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, is freelancers. Now, there are some great blog writers on sites like Fiverr.com, Freelancer.com, Upworks, other sites. And the way you work with those freelancers is you give them the keywords you want them to focus on and ask them to give you, I usually do 4 or 5 posts for each phrase. Now, caution, make sure they are English speakers. And sometimes you do have to edit what they write, but they'll at least give you like the bare bones of a post. Again, you're only asking for 300 or 400 words, maybe up to 600 words, and they can knock those out pretty quick. So for like $50, you could probably get, 8 or 10 blog posts written and then just kind of schedule them out. So that's a way to go. There are also article farms out online, things like TextBroker or Article Blizzard, or I think there's one called iWriter or iContent, I think is what it is. And there's a great site out there called Ezine Articles that you can go through Ezine Articles, and then you can reprint articles that authors have put out there. You have to give them credit, and they will all have like a resource box that will have links about that author, and you have to, kind of follow their rules. But that's a really easy way to get content if you need it. So don't, people stress about the content, and the thing is that the content is actually kind of the easy part of the blog. Another great idea, and I highly recommend that you do it, is create an editorial calendar. When you plan out your blog posts and put it together in a calendar so that you know what you're going to write about and when you're going to write about it, that usually relieves any writer's block. And what you want to do on the calendar, if you can lay it out for a couple months in a row, then you can kind of see what your topics are going to be, and that will actually help you gather material and kind of plan out what your posts, like on your social media, what your posts might be, and let people know ahead of time, hey, I'm going to be talking about that topic coming up, and get some of your other blogging friends together to kind of say, hey, let's all talk about this topic this week. So writing out a calendar is just a really good way to relieve writer's block and to keep you organized and make you committed to the blog. Now, I'll talk a little bit about frequency of posts. Just as your blog is unique to you, so is your blog post timing. Obviously full-time bloggers blog pretty much every day. There's some bloggers that post 3 or 4 times a day. But it's perfectly fine to only post like once a week or maybe twice a month. Even once a month, depending on your topic. But the less frequently you do it, you don't engage your audience. So when people really like what you are talking about, they want to know more about you, and they actually appreciate you blogging more frequently. All right, because your readers, once you develop an audience, they want consistency. They want to know that, oh, you know what, every Thursday I can expect a blog. So, just think about that, how much commitment you have to the blog. So let's talk a little bit about audience engagement. So you definitely want to, on every blog post, you kind of want to ask for feedback or comments. But if someone does leave a comment, make sure you reply to them, thank them, and make a big deal when someone makes comments. Because then they will respond back, and sometimes you can get some good conversation going. So always acknowledge every comment. When appropriate in your blog post, use calls to action. Tell them that, hey, click this over here, or go to this website, or, link, send me a friend request on Facebook, or whatever it is. Actually ask your readers to do something, and, then reward them if they do. But definitely use calls to action. A blog is a great place for like contests and polls. So if, you know, maybe once a quarter, run some sort of contest, whatever your, you know, do something like a caption contest, put some photos out there and ask for captions, or, ask them to submit, a personal story about something, or, do a photography contest, or, whatever you can think of, anything to get your audience kind of engaged. And those are the kinds of posts that can really go viral and get more people sharing. Ask your readers to subscribe and set up an autoresponder system to capture their names and emails. And I think tomorrow I am going to actually show you how to set up a like a request for a newsletter or a request for more information on the blog. So we'll kind of do a lead capture demonstration tomorrow. And I think that is about it.